24. 15% of 200 is 30. Simplifying 36 over 48, we get 3/4. 3/5 as a decimal is 0.6. 0.0057 to one significant figure is 0.006. 2 cubed multiplied by 3 squared is 8 times 9, which is 72. 0.35 as a fraction in its simplest form is 7 over 20. The lowest common multiple of 6 and 8 is 24. The highest common factor of 18 and 24 is 6. A quarter plus 2/3 is the same as 3 over 12 plus 8 over 12, which is 11 over 12. 5/6 minus 1/3 is the same as 15 over 18, take 6 over 18, which is 9 over 18, which is a half. 2/5 times 3/4 is 6 over 20, which is 3 over 10. 3/4 divided by 1/8 is the same as 3/4 times 8, which is 24 over 4, which is 6. 7/8 of 24 is 3 times 7, which is 21. Estimating 48 multiplied by 52 by rounding each number to one significant figure, we can do that by just saying that it's 50 times 50 approximately. And the answer to that is 2,500. How much does it differ from the real answer? Well, we can use the difference of two squares because it's 50 take 2 times 50 plus 2, and therefore it's 50 squared take 2 squared, which is 2,500 take 4, which is 2,496. Increasing 80 by 25%, we get 100. Decreasing 90 by 10%, we get 81. What percentage of 50 is 12? The answer is 24%. Multiplying a number by 0.7 is the same as decreasing it by what percentage? The answer is 30%. That's how much you're decreasing it by. Writing 7.2 times 10 cubed as an ordinary number, well, that would be 7.2 times 1,000, which moves the decimal point 3 to the right, which is 7,200. 45,000 in standard form is 4.5 times 10 to the 4. 5 to the power of 0 is just 1. 2 to the power of -3 is 1/8. A length is recorded as 5 centimeters to the nearest centimeter. What is the upper bound? Well, people are tempted to say it's 5.4999 forever and ever, but that's actually exactly the same as 5.5. Simplify 3x at 5x, you get 8x. Then for 7y, take 2y at 4, you get 5y at 4. Expanding 4, open brackets a plus 3, we get 4a plus 12. Expanding x at 5 times x take 5, we get x squared take 5 squared, which is x squared take 25. Factorizing 6x at 9 fully, we factor out the 3 to get 3, open brackets 2x at 3. Factorize x squared plus 5x plus 6. Well, that would be x at 3 times x at 2. Solving 2x at 7 equals 15, we take 7 from both sides, so we get 2x equals 8. Divide both sides by 2, we get x equals 4. Solving 5x take 3 equals 2x at 12, we take 2x from both sides to get 3x take 3 equals 12, add 3 to both sides to get 3x equals 15, and then we get x equals 5. Solving 3 open brackets x take 2 all equal to 12, we divide both sides by 3, so we get x take 2 equals 4, and then add 2 to both sides, so we get x equals 6. Solving x over 3 equals 8, times both sides by 3, so we get x equals 24. Solving 4x over 5 equals 12, times both sides by 5, so we get 4x equals 60. Then divide both sides by 4, so we get x equals 15. Solving 3x is greater than 12, divide both sides by 3, we get x is greater than 4. If x add y is equal to 10 and x take y is equal to 2, what is x? Adding the equations together, we get 2x equals 12, so x is equal to 6. What is the gradient of the line y equals 4x take 9? The gradient is the number that's in front of x, so it would be 4. The y-intercept of the line y equals 3x add 2 would just be 2. It's the number on the end. What is the nth term of the sequence 5, 8, 11, 14? It's clearly adding 3 each time, so it's operating like the 3 times tables, so we say 3n add 2. What is the next term in the sequence 3, 6, 12, 24? Clearly it's multiplying by 2 each time, so it's a geometric sequence, so the next term is going to be 24 times 2, which is 48. Simplifying x squared multiplied by x to the power of 5, we get x to the 2 times x to the 5, which is x to the 7. Simplifying x cubed all squared, we have x to the 6 by doing the a to the x to the a to the power of b is equal to x to the a times b. If f of x equals 3x take 2, what is f of 5? Subbing in 5, we get 3 times 5 take 2, which is 15 take 2, which is 13. What is the midpoint of the line segment joining 0, 0 and 6, 8? It would be 3, 4. Simplify the ratio 12 to 18. That would be 2 to 3. 40 pounds is shared in the ratio 3 to 5. What is the smaller share? The smaller share would be 40 divided by 8 times by 3, which is going to be 5 times 3, which is 15 pounds. A recipe uses 2 eggs for 8 cakes. How many eggs are needed for 20 cakes? All right, so 2 eggs for 8 cakes, and therefore 1 egg for 4 cakes, and therefore 5 times as much, so 5 eggs for 20 cakes. If 5 pence cost £3, how much do 8 pence cost? 5 pence cost £3, and therefore 1 pen costs £3 over 5, which is 60 pence. So 8 pence cost 60 pence multiplied by 8, which is £4.80. A map scale is 1 centimeter to 5 kilometers. What real distance corresponds to 6 centimeters? So we have to multiply 5 kilometers by 6, so we get 30 kilometers. If 3/4 of a number is 18, what is the number? Okay, so the number would be 24. If 20% of a number is 7, what is the number? Well, that would mean 10% is 3.5, so 100% would be 35. A car travels 120 miles in 3 hours at constant speed. What is its speed in miles per hour? You do speed equals distance divided by time, so 120 divided by 3, which is 40 miles per hour. Convert 2.5 kilograms to grams, times it by 1,000, so you get 2,500 grams. How many degrees are in the angle sum of a triangle? The answer is 180 degrees. What is each interior angle of a regular hexagon? The answer is 120 degrees. What is the area of a rectangle 8 centimeters long and 5 centimeters wide? The answer is 40 square centimeters. What is the perimeter of a square with side length 7 centimeters? That would be 7 times 4, which is 28 centimeters. What is the area of a triangle with base 10 centimeters and height 6 centimeters? Do base times height divided by 2, so 10 times 6 divided by 2 is 30 square centimeters. What is the circumference of a circle with radius 7 centimeters in terms of pi? The circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, so we would do 2 times 3 times pi, which is 6 pi centimeters. What is the volume of a cuboid with dimensions 4 by 3 by 2 centimeters? That would be 4 times 3 times 2, which is 24 cubic centimeters. What is the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle with shorter sides 3 centimeters and 4 centimeters? This is the famous 3, 4, 5 triangle, so the hypotenuse would be 5 centimeters. A right angle triangle has hypotenuse 13 centimeters and one side 5 centimeters. What is the shortest side? So you just do 169, take away 25 to get 144, and square root that to get 12 centimeters. What is sine 30 degrees? The answer is a half. What is cosine 60 degrees? The answer is root 3 over 2. What is tan 45 degrees? The answer is 1. In a right angle triangle, if the opposite side is 3 and the hypotenuse is 5, what is the sine of the angle? Okay, so I'm going to presume that it's a standard setup. So it's going to be the what? The 3, 4, 5 triangle then. Oh no, we can just use SOHCAHTOA. So sine of the angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, so it's the arc sine of 3/5, whatever that happens to be. What is the volume of a cylinder with radius 2 centimeters and height 5 centimeters in terms of pi? So you find the area of the base and multiply it by the height, and the area of the base is going to be pi r squared, so 4 pi. 4 pi times 5 is 20 pi. There you go. That's the volume, 20 pi cubic centimeters. What is the exterior angle of a regular pentagon? So the interior angle is 108 degrees. You have to subtract that from 180 and we get 72 degrees. A polygon has interior angle summing to 720 degrees. How many sides does it have? This is obviously a hexagon, so it has 6 sides. What is the area of a trapezium with parallel sides 6 centimeters and 10 centimeters and height 5 centimeters? So you find the average of the two sides, that being 8 centimeters, multiplied by the height to get 40 square centimeters. What is the size of an angle in a semicircle? That would be 180 degrees. What is the surface area of a cube with side length 3 centimeters? Okay, so 3 times 3 to get the area of one face, 9 centimeters squared, then times it by 6 to get all faces added together, so 54 square centimeters. How many lines of symmetry does a square have? The answer is 4. What is the order of rotational symmetry of an equilateral triangle? That would be 3. Convert 3.2 meters to centimeters, that would be 320 centimeters. What bearing is directly opposite 060 degrees? Okay, so let's just visualize this. All right, that'll be 120. 120 degrees as a sum to 180. If two angles are supplementary and one is 150 degrees, what is the other? Supplementary means they sum to 180 and therefore the other would be 65 degrees. A fair 6-sided die is rolled. What is the probability of rolling a 4? The answer is 1 in 6. What is the probability of not rolling a 6 on a fair 6-sided die? That would be 1 minus the probability of actually rolling a 6. So it's 1 take 1 6, which is 5/6. A bag has 3 red and 4 and 7 blue counters. What is the probability of drawing a red counter? Okay, that would be 3 in 10. If P of A is 0.3, what is the probability of not A? That would be 0.7. What is the mean of 2, 5, 8, and 9? Sum them together to get 24, and then divide by 4 to get 6. What is the median of 3, 7, 9, 12, and 15? It's the central element, so it will be 9. What is the mode of 2, 3, 3, 5, and 7? Is the most frequently occurring element, so it would be 3. What is the range of 4, 9, 13, and 20? It's the max take away the min, so 20 take 4, which is 16. If 10 values have mean 6, what is their total? Their total would be 6 times 10, which is 60. A fair coin is tossed twice. What is the probability of 2 heads? That would be 1 in 4. A bag has 5 red, 3 blue, and 2 green sweets. What is the probability of not choosing a red sweet? So, as there are 5 red, there are 5 non-red, so it would be 1 in 2. In a class of 30 students, 18 are girls. What is the probability that a random chosen student is a boy? Assuming that all the non-girls are boys, that would be 12 out of 30, which is 2 over 5, or 0.4. What is the probability of drawing a king from a standard deck of 52 cards? There are 4 kings in a standard 52 deck of cards. There are 4 kings in a standard deck of 52 cards, and therefore it would be 4 out of 52, which is 1 out of 13. A spinner has probability 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and x. What is x? You add them all up together and take that away from 1, so it would be 0.4. What is 0.6 squared? That would be 0.036. What is the next square number after 16? That would be 25. What is 1/3 of 1/3? That is 1/9. A positive number is increased by 10% and then decreased by 10%. Is the final number greater than, less than, or equal to the original? This is a trap. Many people think that it's equal to, but if you increase it by 10%, that's multiplying by 1.1. If you decrease by 10%, that's multiplying by 0.9, and therefore it would be 99% of the original, so less. What is the probability of an impossible event? The answer is 0. And what is the probability of a certain event? The answer is 1. Okay, so that concludes the first round. Next, What is the sum of the first four prime numbers? That's 2, add 3, add 5, add 7. So we get 17. What is the... Oh, I actually didn't know that. Oh, wow. Okay. What is the lowest common multiple of 6 and 8? That would be 24. If you multiply -3 by -4 and then subtract 5, what is the result? -3 times -4 is 12, and then take away 5 is 7. What is 25% of 360? All right, that would be 90. Express the fraction 3/12 in its simplest form. That would be 1 over 4. What is the principal square root of 144? That would be 12. What is 2 raised to the power of 5? That would be 32. If a coat originally costing £80 is reduced by 20. All right, we're back. What is 3/5 of 50? 1/5 would be 10, so 3/5 would be 30. Which is strictly larger, 0.3 or 1/3? 1/3. Subtract 0.07 from 1. That would be 0.93. What is the mathematical reciprocal of 4? That would be a quarter. Divide 42 by 0.5. That would be 84. What is the highest common factor of 36? That would be 12. If a number is cubed to make -8, what is the original number? That's -2. How many millimeters are there in 1.5 meters? Let's see now. In a meter, there are 1,000 millimeters, and so in 1.5, that would be 1,500. Write the decimal 0.125 as a simplified fraction. That would be an eighth. What is the result of adding the square of 3 and the square of 4? All right, so that's 9 and 16, which is 25. What is 5 divided by 0.2? Okay, that would be 25. Estimate the product of 19.8 and 5.1 to the nearest integer. So we approximate them both as integers. So it would be 20 times 5, which is 100. If x is 3 and y is -2, what is the value of 2x minus y? Okay, so 2x is 6, and minusing y, minusing -2, would be adding 2, so the answer would be 8. Solve for x. 3x plus 7 equals 22. Okay, take 7 from both sides, so 22 take 7 is 15, and then divide both sides by 3, so we get x is equal to 5. Expand the brackets. 4 multiplied by the sum of x at 3, so we get 4x at 12. Factorize completely. 6x squared plus 9x. Okay, so factor out 3x, so we get 3x on the outside of the brackets, and then on the inside of the brackets we get 2x plus 3. What is the value of a squared minus b squared when a is 5 and b is 4? Then that would be 25 take 16, which is 9. Make y the subject of the formula x equals y divided by 2, then y would be equal to 2x. Simplify the expression 5a minus 2b equals a plus 4b. Okay. 5a take 2b plus a plus 4b. All right, so 6a plus 2b. Beg your pardon. It's written in words, so it's throwing me off. Solve for x. 5x equals 2x plus 12. Okay, so 3x equals 12, so x equals 4. What is the nth term of the linear sequence 2, 5, 8, 11? It's adding 3 each time, and therefore it's behaving like the 3 times table, or 3n, but you have to take away 1, so 3n take 1. If a function f of x equals 3x squared, what is the value of f of 2? Subbing in 2, we get 3 times 2 squared, which is 12. Simplify x to the power of 4 multiplied by x to the power of 3. Summing the indices, we get x to the power of 7. Simplify y to the power of 8 divided by y to the power of 2. Subtracting the indices, we get y to the power of 6. What is the numerical value of x to the power of 0, assuming x is not 0? It's 1. Expand and simplify the product of x plus 1 and x plus 2. Alright, that would be x squared at 3x at 2. Solve the linear inequality. 2x is strictly greater than 14. Dividing both sides by 2, we get x is greater than 7. Factorize the difference of two squares, x squared minus 25, so we get x at 5 times x take 5. If a equals 2, what is the value of 3 multiplied by a cubed? So we would do 3 times 2 cubed, which is 3 times 8, which is 24. Simplify the algebraic ratio of 2x to 4x squared. Alright, that would be x to 2x squared, or it would just be 1 to 2x. 1 to 2x. Find the gradient of a straight line given by the equation y equals 4x minus 7. The gradient is simply 4. What is the y-intercept of the straight line y equals negative x plus 5? The gradient is, the y-intercept is simply 5. Share 32 pounds in the ratio of 1 to 2. In the ratio of 1 to 2? Oh wait, it says 30 pounds. Alright then, that would just simply be 10 pounds for the first person, 20 pounds for the second person. If 3 identical pens cost £1.50, how much do 5 of these pens cost? Each one costs 50 pence, and therefore 5 of them cost £2.50. A car travels 60 miles in 1.5 hours. What is its average speed in miles per hour? Okay, so if it travels 60 miles in 1.5 hours, then it travels 120 miles in 3 hours, which is 40 miles an hour. Convert the 24-hour clock time 15:45 into 12-hour clock format. That would be 3:45 p.m. If a recipe for 4 people requires 200 grams of flour, how much flour is needed for 10 people? Alright, so 50 grams of flour per person, and therefore for 10 people it would be 500 grams. What is the ratio of 50 centimeters to 2 meters in its simplest integer form? That would be 1 to 4. A map has a scale of 1 to 100,000. What real-world distance in kilometers does 1 centimeter represent? Okay, so 100 centimeters go in a meter and 1,000 meters go in a kilometer, and therefore in the real world, that represents 1 kilometer. If x is directly proportional to y and x is 10 when y is 2, what is x when y is 5? If x is 10 when y is 2, then x is 5 when y is 1. Then multiplying both by 5, x would be 25 when y is 5. If 2 painters can paint a room in 6 hours, how many hours would it take 3 painters working at the same rate? Okay, so 2 painters paint a room in 6 hours, and that, oh, it's going to be inversely proportional, right? Right? Okay, so it would take 1 painter 12 hours. Okay. So t equals 12 over p. T equals 12 over p. So it would take them 4 hours. The train departs at 10:30 and arrives at 12:15. 10:30 and arrives at 12:15. How many minutes long is the journey? So that would be 105 minutes. Reduce 60 by 10% and then reduce that result by a further 10%. 60 reduced by 10% is 54. Reduce that by 54, we have to subtract 5.4, so we get 48.6. What is the percentage profit if an item is bought for £40 and sold for £50? Well, you've made a 25% profit. A piece of string is cut in the ratio 3 to 5. If the shorter piece is 15 centimeters, how long was the whole string? Okay, so 5 for the first part, and then 5 times 8, so 40 centimeters. If a sprinter covers 400 meters in 50 seconds, what is their average speed in meters per second? Okay, so you do 400 divided by 50, so we get 8 meters per second. What is the inverse ratio of 2 to 3? That would be 3 to 2. If 40% of an unknown number is 20, what is the full number? Okay, so 40% of it is 20, so 10% of it is 5, so the full number is 50. Okay, how many total minutes are there in 2 3/4 of an hour? Okay, so you do 60 times 2 and then add 45, so 120 add 45 is 165. A gear with 10 teeth drives a gear with 30 teeth. If the small gear turns 3 times, how many times does the large gear turn? Okay, the large gear turns exactly once. A bank pays 5% simple interest per year. How much total interest is earned on £200 in 3 years? As it's simple interest, you simply add on 5% per year over the course of 3 years. 5% of £200 is, well, it should be £10. Times that by 3, so you get £30. So that's the simple interest accrued. Divide 120 into the ratio of 1 to 2 to 3. Okay, so 1 share is 120 divided by 6, which is 20, and therefore each of the parts of the ratio should be 20 to 40 to 60. How many degrees are in the sum of the interior angles of a triangle? That's a base fact, so 180 degrees. What is the area of a rectangle with a length of 8 centimeters and a width of 5 centimeters? You multiply them together to get 40 square centimeters. What is the perimeter of a regular hexagon with a side length of 7 centimeters? Multiply by 7 by 6 to get 42 centimeters. How many distinct lines of symmetry does a square have? The answer is 4. What is the volume of a cube with a side length of 3 centimeters? Cube 3 to get 27 cubic centimeters. If the diameter of a circle is 10 centimeters, what is its radius? The answer is half of that, so 5 centimeters. Calculate the area of a right triangle with a base of 6 and a vertical height of 4. Okay, so 6 times 4 divided by 2, which is 24 over 2, which is 12. It doesn't say the units, so 12 square units. What is the size of a single interior angle in a regular pentagon? 108 degrees. A right-angled triangle has shorter sides of 3 and 4. What is the length of its hypotenuse? This is the famous 3-4-5 triangle, so 5. What is the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 10? Leaving your answer in terms of pi. Okay, if its diameter is 10, then half of that is 5, and the circumference is 2 pi r or pi d, so you could have done it that way, so it would actually be 10 pi. How many total faces does a triangular prism have? The answer is 5. What are the coordinates of the midpoint between 0, 0 and 4, 6? Okay, that would be 2, 3. If two angles on a straight line are in the ratio 1 to 5, what is the size in degrees of the smaller angle? Okay, the angle on a straight line is 180 degrees, so 180 divided by 6 is 30 degrees, and that's the smaller angle. What is the total surface area of a cube with side lengths of 2 centimeters? So 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 square centimeters is the area of one face, then times that by 6 to get 24 square centimeters. How many degrees are there in a quarter turn? The answer is 90 degrees. If a shape is translated by the vector 3, -2, how many units does it move vertically downwards? The answer is 2 units downwards. Are all equilateral triangles mathematically similar to one another? The answer is yes. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, what is the alternate interior angle to a 50-degree angle, beg your pardon? Okay, that should be 50 degrees as well. A cylinder has a circular base area of 20 and a height of 5. What is its volume? So you just do 20 times 5 to get 100 cubic units. What is the sum of the exterior angles of any convex polygon? The answer is 360 degrees. What is the mean of the numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8? Add them together, so we get 20, and then divide that by 4, so we get 5. What is the median of the dataset containing the numbers 3, 1, 4, 1, 5? Okay, put them in order, so we get 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, and then pluck out the central element, which is 3. What is the mode of the dataset containing red, green, blue, and red? It is the most frequently occurring color, so that would be red. What is the mathematical range of the values 10, 3, 7, 15, and 2? That's maximum take away minimum, which is 15 take away 2, which is 13. If you roll a fair standard 6-sided die, what is the probability of rolling a prime number? The primes from 1 to 6 are 2, 3, and 5, so that's a 1 in 2 chance. A bag containing exactly 3 red and 2 blue marbles, what is the probability of picking a blue marble? Okay, 3 red and 2 blue marbles, so that would be 2 out of 5. If the probability of rain tomorrow is 0.2, what is the probability that it will not rain? 0.8. How many different ways can you sequentially arrange the letters A, B, and C? Okay, so that would be 3 factorial, which is 6. Hello. Okay, if a fair coin is flipped twice, what is the probability of getting 2 heads? That's a 1 in 4 chance. What is the next number in the Fibonacci sequence? 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. The answer is 8. A scatter graph shows a strong negative correlation as the x-axis variable increases. What happens to the y-axis variable? It should decrease. If you pick a single card from a standard deck of 52, what is the probability it is a heart? That's a 1 in 4 chance. A test has a mean score of 50. If every student's score is doubled, what is the new mean? It should be 100. What is the probability of rolling a total sum of 2 with 2 fair 6-sided dice? The answer is 2 out of 36, which is 1 in 18. Okay. Oh no, actually that's actually wrong. It should be 1 in 36. 1 in 36. If event A and event B are mutually exclusive, what is the probability of both events happening at the exact same time? The answer is 0. The ages of 3 siblings are 5, 7, and 9. What will their mean age be in 4 years' time? So you just simply add 4 to each of the ages, so you get 9. Or rather, you can add 12 to the sum. So 5, 7, and 9, that adds up to 21. Add 12, you get 33, and then 33 divided by 3 is 11. If a full pie chart represents 80 people, how many people are represented by a 90-degree sector? The answer is 20. There are 5 true or false questions in a quiz. How many totally unique combinations of answers are possible? The answer is 32. A box plot has a lower quartile of 10 and an upper quartile of 25. What is the interquartile range? So you do upper quartile minus lower quartile, so 25 take 10, which is 15. If the probability of winning a specific game is 1/3, how many games would you mathematically expect to win if you play 30 times? 10. All right. Okay, so we just take a pause here for a water break. And hello. All right. All right, round 3. 30% of 240, that should be 72. Express 18 out of 24 as a percentage, that's 75%. 0.0045 in standard form is 4.5 times 10 to the minus 3. 3.2 times 10 to the 4 is an ordinary number, that's 3.2 times 10,000, so that's going to be 32,000. Highest common factor of 24 and 60, that would be 12. What is the lowest common multiple of 6 and 8? That would be 24. Write 84 as a product of its prime factors. So that would be 2 squared times 3 times 7, 3/4 minus 2/3, so 3/4 minus 2/3. Well, that's the same as 3/4 minus 2/3, beg your pardon, that's 9/12. 9/12 take 8/12, so 1/12. What is 2/3 multiplied by 5/8? So that's 2 times 5, so 10 over 24. So 10 over 24 or 5 over 12. What is 3/5 divided by 6/7? Well, that's 3/5 times 7/6. So 3 times 7 over 5 times 6. So 21 over 30. So 7 over 10. Right, 0.36 recurring with both digits repeating as a fraction in its lowest terms. Okay, so that's going to be 36 over 99, which is 12 over 33, which is 4 over 11. 2 to the power of -3, that's 1/8. 16 to the power of 3/4, that's 8. The square root of 48 in third form, that would be 4 times √3. Rationalize the denominator of 6 over √3. All right, so we're going to get 6 √3 over 3, so 2 √3. We're going to get 2 √3. Round 3.4649 to 2 dp, we're going to get 3.46. Our length is 12 centimeters to the nearest centimeter. What is its upper bound? 12.5. Estimate 39.6 times 4.87 by rounding each number to one significant figure. So we get 40 times 5, which is 200 approximated. The reciprocal of 0.25 is 4. Increase 80 by 15%. That's increasing it by 12, so 92. Yes, okay. Algebra, solve 3x and 7 equals 22, so that's 5. Solve 5 lots of x take 2 equals 3x add 4. Alright, so we're going to pause.